Stop making excuses for why you can't accomplish all these goals that you come up with. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. No one will support you. No one really likes you. No one reposts your stuff. You don't get enough views on your videos. Just stop making all these excuses and just do it. Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trinity. If you're new here, today we're going to be discussing how to exit your lazy girl era. If you're into content like this, self-development, personal development, becoming your best self, just growing overall, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell button so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. We're all about personal growth over here, okay? And this video is no different. This topic is super duper important because I say this all the time, but a lot of people feel like life just happens. Life does not just happen. You have to make life happen. If you feel like you're not going anywhere in life, honestly, it's probably because you aren't taking the necessary steps to make something happen in your life. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, especially if you're the type of person who really sits in victim mindset for a really long time or for your whole life. But it's the truth. You have to make certain things happen for yourself. You cannot sit and sulk in what happened to you, what is happening to you, what may happen to you in the future. You got to get up and get to work. A lot of people act like they just can't change their lives at all. They sit and worry about all the bad, all the negative things that are happening instead of really actively trying to pull themselves out of that to make their situation better. Even if you're not going through anything bad at the moment, you could still be in your lazy girl era just by sitting still and doing nothing. And no, this is not one of those videos where I'm going to tell you, oh, you got to work all the time, no rest. No, we don't do that. Hustle culture is just not a fun thing for me anymore. It used to be. And although it may get you a good amount of money, your mental state will not be in the right place for you to be able to keep all the things that you acquire. And I have experienced this firsthand. So without further ado, we're going to get into the tips. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. The first step is to figure out what you want. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of relationships? What do you want out of a career? How do you want your finances to look? What kind of house do you want to live in? How do you want your credit to look? How do you want your body to look? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to just be more fit in general? What does your dream life look like? What does your dream self look like? You have to know all of these things in order for you to actually achieve something. You don't want to go through life aimlessly. I used to feel like it was kind of like common sense to start off knowing what you want. And I remember there was a time where I didn't even want to include that tip in my videos. But then I realized that that's something that a lot of people miss. And it's actually something that I even used to miss years ago. There are a lot of people who have no idea what they want in any area of their lives. Of course, if you don't know what you want, you're going to feel like you're not accomplishing anything. Of course, you're going to feel like nothing is happening for you because you're not being intentional. How can you be intentional and really try to make something happen if you don't have a specific something in mind? What exactly do you want your body to look like? Do you want to lose weight? How much weight do you want to lose? What exactly do you want your physique to look like? Because your body goals may look different from someone else's, and your specific body goals will determine what exercises you do in the gym. It'll determine how often you go to the gym. It'll determine how much you should be eating and how often you should probably be eating. What exactly you should be eating. You get what I'm saying? What you want really determines what you do to get there. Do you want to live in a luxury apartment? Do you want to live in a nice condo? Do you want to buy a house before the year is over? Do you want a nice luxury car? Do you want to become an entrepreneur? Do you want to start a YouTube channel? What do you want? Be very detailed. Write it down. And when I say be detailed, I mean be detailed, like to the T. What do you want your life to look like? What does your dream self look like? Make a Pinterest board if you have to. Make an actual physical vision board if you have to. Do whatever you have to do to really get an idea of and organize your thoughts about what you want. I used to feel like vision boards were just like, it's just putting a bunch of pictures together. How would this really guarantee that I accomplish something this year or this month or this week, whatever? But it's not the vision board itself that ensures that you will accomplish something. Vision boards are important because they allow you to actually create a vision of what exactly you want, how you want your life to look, how you want yourself to look, how you want your relationships to look, how you want your home to look. It all starts with an idea. Every successful person in the world started with a vision for what they wanted to achieve, what they wanted to accomplish, what they wanted their life to look like. And once you have a vision in mind, once you have a vision set in stone, you can then create a plan and a routine and everything else you need that will allow you to take the necessary steps to get to that point. Now that you figured out what exactly it is that you want, you need to figure out how to get there. Maybe like a year or two ago, I made a TikTok talking about how I noticed that I got really overwhelmed about my goals to the point where I didn't do anything because I didn't know how to break those goals down into smaller goals. I never thought about breaking them down into smaller goals, and I also didn't realize that I had a lot of goals that I never even researched. Like, I knew that I wanted to do certain things, but I never took the time to like research how to actually make that happen. And when you don't know exactly how to make something happen, you get overwhelmed and start feeling like, oh, this is a lot. This seems so unattainable. It seems so far out of my reach. And honestly, sometimes what you want is not even that far out of your reach. What you want is not even that hard to get. It might not take years like you think. It might not require a whole lot of money like you think. Sometimes it takes less time, less money, and less energy than you would think. But you need to sit down, do some research, read some books, I don't know, talk to some people, interview some people who are where you want to be, and figure out what you need to do to get to where you need to be. I've realized that a lot of people want to be spoon-fed. And you might even be one of those people. You might be one of those people who want someone to tell them every single step of the way. You want someone to give you the actual blueprint for how to get to where you want to be and how to have what you want to have. But honestly, no one owes you that. And we live in a world today where we feel like people are gatekeeping when they don't want to give us step-by-step instructions on how to accomplish what they've accomplished. But it's not always gatekeeping. Sometimes people just want you to be able to figure it out for yourself, just like they had to figure it out for themselves. And that's not being selfish. And yes, there are certain situations where I do feel like people be gatekeeping, but there are also situations where all you gotta do is go on Google and you'll find out exactly what that person found out. Y'all just be being lazy. And that's why this is a very important step of getting out of your lazy girl era. You need to do the work yourself. Stop looking to everyone else to give you all the advice that you need to get to where you want to be. No, there are some things that you can do on your own. Everything does not require Q&A. Look it up, figure it out. Now that you've figured out what you want and you figured out how to get there, it's time to figure out why you're not there. Why haven't you accomplished these goals yet? Especially if they're goals that you've had for a long time, whether it be months or years. What distractions are stopping you from accomplishing this goal? Who have you been hanging around that's possibly stopping you from accomplishing these goals? What are you into that's holding you back? That could be things, people. What habits do you have that are stopping you from accomplishing these goals? Do you have poor eating habits? Do you have poor spending habits? Are you stuck in victim mindset and victim mentality? Are you dating the wrong kind of guys? Do you dress a way that may be preventing you from getting certain things? Are you consistent? Are you disciplined? Do you sleep most of the day? Do you drink too much? Do you smoke too much? Are you just plain lazy? It's so important that you figure out exactly what's holding you back, because a lot of the time when we have goals in mind, we think about all these things that we have to do to get there, but there are often a lot of things that we need to stop doing in order to get there. So what needs to be cut out? What's not benefiting you? What's making you feel like you don't have enough time to get things done? And no, this is not the time to play the blame game and just point your finger at everybody else around you. No, this is time to really take inventory of what you're doing or what you're not doing. The next thing you need to do is plan. I know it probably seems mediocre, it probably seems like common sense, but you'd be surprised, trust me. Like I said before, a lot of the time we don't accomplish our goals, or we don't even start at all, because we have no idea how to get there. But once you know how to get there, you have to put a plan in place to make sure it happens. It's not going to just happen now that you know how to get there. Now, this step is really important because I feel like this is what contributes to productivity the most. When you're planning, it's important to create structure and routine. Those are the two things that will help you to be productive. If you're just winging it, 9 times out of 10, nothing is going to get done, especially if you have a whole lot of stuff to do. I told this story before on my channel, but I'll say it again for those of y'all who have never heard it. A few years ago, I remember just feeling so overwhelmed and feeling like I had so much stuff to do. I was a new mom. I run a business, of course, as some of y'all may know. I was trying to get back in the gym. I was trying to eat more so that I could actually see results in the gym. I just felt like I had a whole lot going on. And I remember someone telling me that it was hard for me to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish because I didn't have any structure. I was going about my day on a day-to-day basis, really just winging it, hoping that I had time to accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish in that day. I didn't have priorities for the day, no to-do list, no time stamps for each thing I wanted to do. I would just wake up in the morning and hope that by the time I went to sleep, I got something done. And that is not a good way to live, especially if you want to be productive, especially if you want to accomplish your goals. Plan out your days in a way that works for you. Prioritize what you need to prioritize. Everything does not have to get done in one day. So at the beginning of the year, well, really at the end of the previous year, if that makes sense. So maybe around like November, December, I start planning for the next year. I think about all the things I want to accomplish. I think about how I want my life to look. I think about what kind of person I want to be, and I plan accordingly. Each month I have goals that contribute to those yearly goals. And also at the beginning of each week, I'm planning for the week, trying to figure out how I can get one step closer to accomplishing those yearly goals, or really the monthly goals that add up to the yearly goals. And this is why I said before that breaking your goals down into smaller ones is so important. What you do on a daily basis should contribute to your weekly goal, that contributes to your monthly goals, that contributes to your yearly goals. And you need structure in order to make these things happen. If you don't have systems in place to get stuff done, you won't get anything done. I still have the same stuff going on. I've actually added a little bit more because now I have a YouTube channel, but it seems a lot easier to get everything done because I have systems in place. I have certain times to do everything that I want to do. Like I said, I'm a mom. I have a business. I do lashes. I have a YouTube channel. I'm now in a relationship. I have friends I need to spend time with. There's a whole lot of stuff to get done. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I meal prep now to make sure I'm actually getting my meals in so that I can see my results in the gym. And no, I don't have like 100% balance. I don't have the balance that I want to have, but some way, somehow, I get everything done for the most part because I plan out my days the night before most of the time. I plan out my videos in advance. I plan out when I'm going to film, when I'm going to edit, when I'm going to upload. I have one calendar where I can literally see everything I have going on for the month. Bills, outings, appointments, videos, everything goes on one calendar. I do have separate calendars for everything too, but I have that one calendar where I can see everything so that I know how much time I have and how much time I need to allot to all the things I need to get done. I used to fight the need for routine. I remember telling y'all before that I hated the fact that I needed a morning routine, a night routine, a filming schedule, an editing schedule. I hated all of that because I didn't like the idea of being forced to do certain things at certain times. And it seemed really robotic to me. I felt like I was eventually going to feel like a robot doing the same things all the time on a schedule. But that's what you need. As humans, we thrive off of routine. When you're creating structure and routine in your life, it forces you to prioritize. It forces you to make a list of everything that needs to get done and choose times to do it. What is important on this day? What's important on this day? What's important at this hour? If you don't prioritize, you'll end up doing a bunch of stuff that didn't even need to get done that day. Let's say it's Monday and you've done 5 out of 10 things that were on your weekly to-do list. What did you really accomplish if 4 out of those 5 things didn't even have to be done until Friday? And there were 2 other things on the list that really needed to be done by Tuesday. You didn't use your time wisely. So you have to plan. You need structure, you need routine, and you need to prioritize. Not only does that help you to be more productive, but it helps you to prevent burnout. I notice that I get burned out really easily. I get overwhelmed. I get really anxious when I fall off of my routines, because then I'm trying to cram in a whole bunch of stuff in a short amount of time. A lot of people, including me, get lazy when they're overwhelmed and you end up doing nothing. You can prevent that by prioritizing and really scheduling your day, creating routines, creating structure for your day, your week, your months. Don't try to cram everything in at once. I'm telling you, you're gonna hate yourself for it later. My next tip is to stop making excuses. Stop making excuses for why you can't do XYZ. Stop making excuses for why you can't accomplish all these goals that you come up with. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. No one will support you. No one really likes you. No one reposts your stuff. You don't get enough views on your videos. Just stop making all these excuses and just do it. I tell people all the time, you're either gonna do it or you're not. And that goes for anything. Whenever people ask me about starting a business or starting a YouTube channel or just starting whatever, changing their life in general, I always just say, you gotta make the decision to just do it. I got a whole lot going on and I can come up with a whole bunch of excuses for why I can't do any of it. But where's that gonna get me? Nowhere. Your excuses are holding you back, literally. They're stopping you from taking the necessary steps to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And your excuses are the reason why your life is the way it is right now. There was a time where, like I said, I felt like I didn't have any time to do anything. I kept saying to myself, yeah, I want to go to the gym, but I don't have no time to go to the gym. I don't have time to eat 3 meals a day because I don't have time to prepare 3 meals a day. I don't have enough clients to make X amount of dollars. Excuses, excuses, excuses. But when you want to, you will. You'll figure it out. But like I said, you gotta prioritize and you gotta want it. When I was at that point in my life where I felt like I just had so much going on and the odds were stacked against me and I had all these excuses for why I couldn't do everything, I remember thinking to myself, there are people in the world who have way more going on than me, and they still find a way to make it happen. And yes, they might have assistants, they might have people editing their videos for them, they might have management responding to emails for them, they might have nannies, they might have a really good support system for their kids so that they don't always have to have their kids 24/7. Maybe they don't have toddlers, maybe their kids are older, but it doesn't matter. They figure it out and they get it done. And that's what you have to do. Ultimately, you have to figure it out. If you want to make it happen, you have to figure out a way to make it happen. When I first started my channel, I remember feeling like I didn't have any time to myself because all the free time I had, like on the days where I was off and I didn't have Jax, I was either filming or editing. And I enjoyed doing it, so it wasn't like a terrible thing, but I still didn't have much time to do stuff outside of that. I remember staying up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because a video needed to go up the next day and I had clients all day the next day, so I wouldn't have had time to edit. But that was a sacrifice I had to make. And it's so crazy to think that at that time when I was staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning editing Vlogmas videos, I only had like 200 or 300 subscribers. Look where they got me. And my final tip is to give yourself time to rest. If you really want to exit your lazy girl era, you have to realize that it's not all about being productive all the time and work. It's not about hustle culture, because you're going to burn yourself out real quick. And that is the easiest way to just end up doing nothing. When you're planning out your days, when you're planning out your weeks, your months, you have to give yourself time to rest. Stop trying to be superwoman. Yes, if there's a day where you're feeling a boost of energy, or if there's a time of the month where you have a boost of energy, you know you're in a better mood around this time of the month, get as much done as you can at that time. But you also need to allot time to just relax. You need to give yourself time to hang out with your friends, to enjoy your partner, spend time with your kids if you have some, work on your hobbies. Everything can't be work all the time. All work, no play is not fun at all. I don't care what anyone tells you. Making a whole bunch of money and not being able to enjoy it is not fun. Spending all your time working and not having any time to spend with your kids, not having any time to spend with your partner, not having any time to sleep or just rest, period. Even if you gotta give yourself 15 minutes to just scroll on Instagram in the morning, do that. I know everyone likes to say, oh, don't touch your phone as soon as you wake up, but if that's the only time you have to yourself and you wanna use it scrolling on Instagram, by all means. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because when you don't allow yourself to have time to just be, you start to resent yourself, you start to resent everyone around you, and you start to hate your life. And the whole reason why we're doing this, the whole reason why we're trying to exit our lazy girl era, and the whole reason why we're trying to accomplish all these goals is so that we can actually enjoy our lives. You want to be able to see the fruits of your labor. I just took 2 weeks off from YouTube. I didn't post anything for 2 whole weeks. I think I did post like YouTube shorts someday in the last 2 weeks, but for the most part, I was off for 2 weeks. And I loved it because I needed some mental clarity. I needed time to just be. I didn't want to have to think about video ideas. I didn't want to have to think about filming or editing. There were other things I had to prioritize during that time. And when that stuff was out of the way, I was able to just chill and relax, because I don't feel like I give myself enough time to chill and relax, which is why I'm often really anxious, all over the place. And I notice when I don't have designated time to rest, if I don't have designated time to myself, I end up taking from the time that I'm supposed to be being productive. So give yourself time. Do not try to cram in a whole bunch of stuff in one day. Prioritize. Like I said, you don't have to be Superwoman or Superman, because I know there are some guys who are watching this video. So as always, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave any thoughts you have down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.